I forget that time's passed and we ain't got time for 30 seconds of a clock countdown. We're all staring at it like deers in the headlights. Anyway, I got, hey, listen, guys and gals, welcome to the channel today. Listen, I brought on the heat today. I got Angela with me. I got Josh with me. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff related to this industry, and many of you hopefully going to get some information about this or out of this call about, as Angela says all the time, and Josh too, is we're looking to coach you to success. And many of you want success. You say you want success. Coaching. You think you want coaching, but what does coaching mean? Because we find there's a great divide in what people think coaching is and how people act once they get here and want that coaching or they get that coaching. So we're going to talk about it. Josh has got a lot of experience managing a team, so he's going to give us his thoughts. And Angela deals with all of our agents on a daily basis, and so we're going to try to open some ears today and insert some information that will help you relate to your coach better by setting the understanding what coaching is and setting the right expectations of that coaching, and then create the right mindset to receive that coaching. Because look, nobody wants to be anybody's boss, at least not here on our team and what we're doing here. But we do want to set you straight on the straight and narrow path, as my mom used to say, and make sure that you are telling you only things that work and never things that don't work. And we're not testing out new ideas on our agency. Look, this goes on way too much in this industry, and we're going to put a stop. We already put a stop to it here. And if you're getting that kind of coaching out there, look, you need to make sure. Here's the first thing about coaching is stop shopping around for your coaching. Right? If you're working with somebody, make sure they have a financial interest in being honest with you. The problem with if you're shopping around on the internet and asking people a bunch of different questions and you taking action without filtering that through some sort of a filter, we talk about taking a shopping cart approach around here. Take the shopping cart approach. If Angela went shopping in the grocery store and went down the aisle and put everything in their shopping cart that was on the shelves, I'd be busted. First of all, I couldn't even afford the microphone for this show. So she doesn't do that. She only takes things that she wants. Okay, coaching is very similar. Same thing, right? You need to take the shopping cart approach with what you're hearing out there and understand if they don't have a financial interest in your success, then you shouldn't be listening, right? Because they may be testing you. You might be the guinea pig, right? They may be saying to you, hey, I think going out there and buying leads or not buying leads at all and just working leads that are 10, 15 years old, that's what you should be doing. And they don't have any interest in your success or your failure, right? You keep trying all these ridiculous ideas you find on the internet, and most of the time these guys have never sold an insurance policy in their life. And they're giving it. I got news for you. There are people in this industry right now that are building agencies and recruiting hired agents that have never sold an insurance policy in their life. They can't give you advice on doing something they've never done before. So that's why I brought Angela and Josh on today. We're going to talk about coachability, and we're going to kind of tell you about a little bit about what we do here. And look. This is a great time to be in this industry. You've already wasted 60 days. If you're watching this video, you're going, hey, man, look, I was on a call yesterday, Josh. The guy said to me, he goes, I just feel lost. I've been to 5 IMOs. I sign up. He says, every single time I sign with somebody, they were really great on the interview process. They were really great talking to me about everything they provided and all this support that they were going to provide. And then once I got in, I never heard from him again. Folks, that's the problem in this industry, and it's not going to go away as long as people are financially prosper, right? On signing you up and overriding your production, they have an incentive to not necessarily be completely honest and forthright with what they're telling you. Right? It's that some will, some won't, so what crap that you've heard for many, many years. It came from the network marketing industry. No disrespect to network marketing. We've done network marketing around here, and we've done well with it, right? But that's where it came from. It's all about the law of large numbers when hiring. They're not looking to give you any support. They know that giving you support means that they have to lead by example. Many of these guys don't buy their own products that they're selling. So they can't lead by example by telling you how to sell it because they haven't bought it themselves, nor have they sold any of it. But they know they recruit 1,000 people, 100 of them will stick, go out and write some business, they'll override and make some money, and they'll be able to drive around in gold jewelry hanging over their neck and drive around in a Ferrari or a Bentley and live in the dream on your back. See, we can do that here too, because guess what, Josh? Providing support and training and being available to your agents that you have a responsibility with, it's not a sign-up thing here. It is a partnership thing here. Big difference. One is you sign them up and you forget their names 5 minutes after you sign them up, and then you look at the partnership where you're locking arms, okay, like this, okay? You're locking arms with them, and you're there at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. You're there if they're in the house or doing a virtual appointment and they need help. You can tap into that virtual presentation and help them. You're there if they're struggling with how to enter an application. You're there if they want to build an agency and they have somebody they want to interview. You're part of the process because you're a partner. That's the thing. That's what we want to talk about today. Okay, but that's rare in this industry. But by being able to do that costs money. It takes time. It takes dedication. And so normally these people take the path of least resistance, right? And the path of least resistance is I can sign up 1,000, never talk to them again. I'm still bound to make some money. But that's not what we do here. I despise that attitude, but that's why they don't do it, because it takes time. You know, when we talk about case by case ground level support and training, we got 550 people on a call every day, Monday through Friday, and we have a call on Saturday. We got training on steroids. Would you believe sometimes we have a hard time getting people to show up? It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. If you got people that are making multiple six figures, that are willing to give up their time to be on a 40-minute call every day to do not talk, but to talk directly to the person that is struggling and say, okay, what are you doing? Let's break down your presentation. Let's break down your activity level. Let's break down your presentation. Let's break down the kind of leads you're buying and how much you're spending and fix this problem one-on-one with you, with 500 people watching, and they pick out other different agents that are struggling. Why in the hell would you not be on a call like that? Is that crazy? Josh, seriously. You know what I'm talking about.
100%.
I mean, that's like I've said it before. If Grant Cardone pulled in my driveway out front and I was trying to buy real estate, and he knocked on my door and said, "Hey, you got an hour? I'm going to teach you what I know." When I open the door and say, you know what? I can't do it right now. My kid's throwing up in the other room. I got to go wipe up the vomit. I'll be back. No, you drop everything and say, "Come on in." Right?
Do I got you for the whole evening?
How long can you stay? I've got a 6-pack of beer in the refrigerator. Let's see if we can drink it all.
How much do I owe you?
Yeah. It's nonsensical. I know I'm hyped up, but I find this to be the number one issue. Again, we try to do everything that you want us to do, provide everything you want us to provide, because we're in the business. You are our client as an agent. Your success directly equals in our success. We have no interest in recruiting thousands upon thousands upon thousands and keeping 0.1% and blowing through all these other people, and they get discouraged, they get down, they waste money, they buy leads, and they never call. We're not interested in that program. We're interested in partnering with people. And teaching you the skill set necessary to succeed in this industry. But man, you gotta show up, Josh. You gotta be willing to take notes and take action. It's not a complicated business. It really isn't, Josh.
No, it's not looking for the perfect time, and that is the downfall to most people that go to get started with anything and everything. The reason that things aren't happening for you, it's because you're not taking action. And one, you're looking for a reason why you can't get started, right? You're looking at 10 different avenues instead of following direction from somebody that's actually coaching you and actually following you down a path. You're taking their information, then you're discarding, and you're looking for some other information. I don't know what it is, if it's people that are looking for something that fits their personality better, or if what part of that it is that begs people internally to approach things that way, with the lack of a better way to put it. But it takes them off course. And what a lot of people don't there is that it starts creating lack of consistency, right? You cannot pinpoint what is going wrong when you are pulling yourself in 30 different directions, and you are pulling different information, and you're trying something new each and every day. And that's giving people credit that they're actually getting started and doing something. For those that are doing, and those that are holding themselves back, it's because they're trying too many new things at once, instead of following the direction and the coachability of their coach, right? Going out the gate, right? And actually following those directions and getting the advice and solely from them. And even if you got this other information before trying it, ask them, what do you think about this? Right? Using your coach for what they're for, right? Because your coach is your coach because they've done it. They've been there, right? It's experience, right? And they're there to help you, right? Not to hold you back. Here's the thing that gets lacked is there's no benefit. There's no cost benefit to hold you back. And that logic gets lost. And I don't know why and where. At what realm does it behoove somebody to try to sabotage you? It's counterproductive thought process.
Yeah.
So why are you trying to seek that information from someplace else, right? You are sabotaging yourself instead of just following direction. So.
Yeah, if you're part of one of those deals, get out. Get out quick. Get out fast. I get it. I mean, I'm not a quitter either. I stay around. Usually, I stay around longer than I need to, right? Because I'm convinced I can make it work.
But your robot is pretty bad, Steve. Or is it just on my end, Angela?
I don't know. But in this business, let me know. In this business, you've got to make sure that you're getting the right information, right? Pertinent to what you need. Okay, and with the right coach is willing to invest their time in you. Let me look at this. Angel, go ahead. I'll take a look at this now.
I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot is, there's so many people that are craving, some hardcore training and teaching in this business. A lot of people come into this business and they don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. They're feeling overwhelmed because there's so much information. And when you have something like what we have in that, kind of daily coaching, and you see the numbers of people, the huge numbers of people that are participating in it, it reminds me how much people want that basic training. They want to know, okay, what do I do? What do I say? What should my background look like? What should I be wearing? Where should I find the numbers or this or that or the products? And so we give them that massive amount of training. And when you really kind of shift and take a look at our agency, we do as much. Steve and I have also often said this, short of us running the appointments for you, there's not much more that we can do for you. I mean, there's helping you choose the products, trying to keep you slowly on track, helping you through that appointment process, dealing with the objections that you get in the appointment process. But the missing piece of that puzzle is you have to be coachable. You have to be willing to say, okay, tell me what to do, and then go do it.
What does that mean, being coachable? I mean, I'm sure people hear it all the time. What does being coachable mean?
Well, just what I said, to find a point on it, you've got to be willing to be told, run these. I talked to an agent this morning and he said, oh, well, I was looking at this product and I was looking at that product and I thought maybe this and I thought maybe that. And I said, but that's not what I suggested for you. I gave you that guidance for a reason, for a really specific reason. And that really specific reason was, I've been down this road before, so I know that this product will work. And I know that based on all of these different parameters, which you don't know yet, you don't have that experience yet. So the coachability really is not questioning it. Nobody in our agency is going to suggest or point you down a road to do something that's unethical or illegal or something that you shouldn't do that would jeopardize your license. That being said, take the guidance and the instruction and just do it. Stop questioning it. Stop, and I hate, oh gosh, I'm going to get in such trouble for this. We have agents that say to us,
Angela, we just to be clear, we want to get more subscribers, not less. So listen, if you're watching this, make sure you like and subscribe on this video. Thumbs up or thumbs down, but and share it out, because I might need some more subscribers by the time Angela gets done with this conversation.
See, I almost lost my train of thought now that you did that. You almost saved yourself there. I hear this a lot from people. They'll say something like, yeah, I'm just trying to understand so I can learn. I'm just trying to understand why you suggested this product so I can learn. Some of that learning you're going to learn over time. It's because of repetition. You're going to learn it after you do it. And I think that sometimes people, so if this is you, like, it's kind of a call out. If you are the kind of person that takes the instruction and then wants to dissect the instruction down to its most minute, and overthink the instruction, don't do that. Just do, just act. And the understanding will come as the more that you do it. The more that when you fumble, you'll understand, oh, that's why I'm doing that. Okay, got it. The overthinking, the analytical side of this business is really, really big. And I think that people have to kind of embrace the fact that you're going to screw up. Your very first appointment, if you haven't run one yet, is going to be questionable. It's going to be weird. It's going to feel weird. It's going to be awkward. You're not going to understand everything. You're not going to understand the products or the process, but that's okay. Because by the time you do it 5 times, it will feel a lot more natural. And by the time you do it 55 times, it will feel even more natural. And by the time you do it 555 times, you'll be well on your way to being coachable. That's the result of coachability. The biggest thing, and if this is you, again, sit back tonight and have a glass of wine and ask yourself, well, how am I going to fix this? Not why am I doing this, but how am I going to fix it? How am I going to be more coachable?
Well, I think the problem is, again, that most people get their license, and unfortunately, a lot of times you're dealing with type A individuals. These are typical business owners, and they think because they got a license from the state that they should have an input, right? Understand the license that the state gives you teaches you nothing about this business. Right, it teaches you the phrases, the acronyms, whatever, what a whole life and what a universal life. If you were paying attention, you might actually be able to explain those with some clarification. I doubt it, but it doesn't get it. We're talking about when you get a coach that's actually leading by example, putting their name on applications. You need to be listening to what they're saying, and what we say around here is, let us do your thinking for the first 90 days. If we tell you, hey, here's what you need to do to make sure your next appointment is successful, is you need to walk off that pier, jump in the water, swim 5 miles, and then we'll pick up on the other side. You should be doing that. Because there is a certain amount of trust in that coaching relationship, but that's why you came there. You shouldn't be there if you don't trust that coach. I think that's an important part. It's part of that relationship to be successful is there has to be a trust. There had to be a trust on Josh's part when he first came here to us that we knew we were talking about, and we would never tell him something that didn't work. He wanted to learn everything that we knew so he could improve on it. Josh.
Well, he's sitting up there. I think it's I think it's bigger than that. So it's sitting up there in the aspect of where it's sitting up there where I think where most people, because it's people like that ran into this for years, is that there's a saying that I've always tell everybody to avoid, is that people let pride and ego get in their way, right? And then sitting up there whether how receptive they're going to be to being coached, right? That their pride and ego gets in the way, right? It's because then you're having to say that I don't know if it's people that look at it like they're not educated or that they don't know enough. I don't know what goes through the thought process being that, but that's what it is, right? Is that they get in and their ego is in the way, right? And so I really think it truly gets bigger than that, and that you have to have that leap of faith. And I guess it's what's always made it my strength is be able to have that leap of faith, like coming in when joining you guys, is following direction from the get-go. Is up there is I know that I have to forget everything that I ever thought I knew. Why? Because I never sold insurance before, right? I had no idea. Even from the first weekend that I went out, I still didn't know what I was doing. It was all on a leap of faith. I got this presentation that I have this 5-hour drive of going to go these 4 or 5, I can't remember now. It's a couple of years ago. There's 4 or 5 appointments that I had sitting up there, but I probably watched the presentation probably how many times that I couldn't tell you, a lot, right? The whole time that I was there driving, right? Watching it, repeating it, right? Trying to get it down. And still didn't feel like I had it down when I went to there. Fumbled it, made mistakes, sitting up there. But guess what ended up happening at the end of the day? The numbers were in my favor. And sit up there, and I did I called part of our, what we do, called from the home and stuff, followed guidance, followed being coachable, and followed the step. Guess what? I wrote apps, right? And it's the whole point is that I went into it knowing, even after watching the presentation 100 times, I knew I still didn't have it down. I knew I was going to mess it up. I knew it, and I was driving 5 hours. Right? There was a big possibility of me just it being a complete disaster, right? All around. Not only if I just failed completely for the day, then I'm having to drown in it on a 5-hour drive back home, right? To reflect, right? So that the point is
back in the face-to-face days.
Yeah, exactly. and the only way that you're going to get better is doing it and following direction. Right. And following the direction and being coachable. Right. The reason is I gave myself 100% to them. Right. Without sitting up there, it's just following that direction. Show me the way. Show me the path. I followed the path. There was a map that was sitting there for me. Do this, do that, do this, and do that. All the steps in the way. And if I had a question about something, it's sitting up there. And I asked for advice on it. I followed the direction of what that was, right? I didn't go, what about that? Whatever you want to. No, you got that advice, what to do. You do that step, right? Because it's coming from a position of making you better, right? And it behooves everybody to grow together, right? And it's got to be a cohesive relationship. Right. And it's anyways, the whole point is you got to take that leap. Part of coachability is taking that leap of faith. Right. Yeah. Jump in. You got to jump in.
Yeah. And the only way to learn is to be bad before you're good. We get this a lot, too. I think part of that's part of the problem is that people expect that when you give them some coaching, they're going to go out there and everything's going to be perfect. It's not. You're going to fail. And the only way to fail is to fail forward. Do it over and over again, you're going to get better. And that's that relationship. There's no way to transfer knowledge without communication. And communicating with your coach on every aspect and everything you're going through. No one person's an island. And that's that part of that coaching. There's a reason why Tiger Woods and, all these NBA players and NFL, they all have coaches. They're the top of their game. I mean, can you imagine Tiger Woods, who's, not now, but he was at the top of his game. He still had a coach stand next to him when he's hitting golf balls. He's number one in the world. You would think that somebody at that level would no longer need a coach. No, because coaches can see things differently. They can watch what's going on. They've been down that road before. They know how to put you back on track. So if the number one player in the world in golf needs a coach, even when he's at the top of his game, you got to kind of look at that and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? Am I open-minded to my coaching? And am I taking action on that coaching? Am I willing to be bad before I'm good and jump in the pool? And we talk about all the time on our team. You got to be willing to let us do your thinking for 90 days, right? 90 days. Go out there, shut out your thinking. Follow exactly like Josh said, the roadmap to success. And after 90 days, when you start actually getting some deposits, you can get deposits. As soon as I say it, you'll go, it takes 90 days to get deposits. No, what I'm saying is after 90 days, you should have the process down, right? We talk about all the time on this channel, the 4 Ps: phone, product selection, presentation, and persistency. That to me is a win, building the right foundation. And in the early stages especially, you've got to be coachable and be in communication with your coach, providing that coach knows what they're talking about, and taking action. Nancy, go ahead. I heard you chime in there.
Well,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Two things. One, going back to something that Josh was saying, and that was, as soon as he got into this business, he admitted, yes, I've had a lot of success selling, but I've never sold this. So I'm just going to do this exactly the way that you tell me. And that has been his success. And I think one of the things that we see a lot from agents is you have to have that mindset right now, today. So if you're a brand new agent, you're just getting into this business, you need to have that mindset right now. Turn off the overthinking. People love to admit, oh, I'm such an overthinker. Okay, you got to turn it off now. Stop trying to find a way to only overthink a little bit. Just turn it off. Do what you're told to do, right? I have that phrase down well right now because we have our granddaughter staying with us. Yes.
I almost need to add to that. We almost need to make popular, be stupid.
Right. Just act like you know nothing at all and just do what we tell you to do. And here's why I think that's also really important. Because when you're brand new, you're not as desperate. We see a lot of agents that 6 months down the road of overthinking everything and rethinking everything and trying to redo the system and questioning everything. And by the time they get 6 months down the road, they are so financially backed up against the wall that then they say, okay, fine, I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to do it your way. And then your nervousness, your anxiety about your own financial life just vomits through when you're doing a presentation, right? That becomes the face. You have this, most people know what RBF is, but they have this, I think it's resting desperate face is probably a better one. You're just so, somebody, you finally get an appointment with somebody and you're like, oh, please buy this. If you would be more coachable on day one, instead of waiting until 6 months down the road, you could eliminate a lot of that because you would not be waiting for that. You wouldn't get to that point beforehand. That was
I think what I think is ironic about that is that to your point is so many people that all of a sudden they're looking for the perfect formula or the way that they're going to do it, that they're going to be better than anybody else is there. Once they got all this information, they're going to be better than everybody. How is it that you're going to come into an industry that everybody's already poured the path of where the success is, that all of a sudden you're magically going to come in and be better than anybody and everybody else that was there, right? Getting that perfect formula together versus just getting into the game, right? And it's always been ironic to me that everybody's like, out of nowhere, you're just going to, all of a sudden, you're going to reinvent it.
I know.
You're going to reinvent it and make it so much better than it's ever been.
With no knowledge about the
no knowledge. Yeah. Right? I don't get it. It's so somewhere you got something that's been proven, that's here, that's successful, right? You see other people being successful, but you're going to rewrite it.
Yeah.
We have an agent like that right now that has not even started yet. But I was thinking about this morning, Stephen. And this particular agent, when this person listens to the daily coaching calls, after the call, always has some kind of response as to how it could be better. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that instead we should do it this way, or instead it should be done this way. And I was thinking this morning in the shower, ironically, Steve and I sometimes have our best ideas in the shower. Not alone. We shower alone, but
yeah.
Circling back. Moving on. My thought this morning was be careful that you don't watch things like a coaching call, a coaching podcast, receive coaching from your coach, hear it and listen to it as if you are trying to learn something, not as if you are trying to improve on something. This person watches the daily coaching calls as if there's some sort of it's like a request for input, here's this daily coaching call. Please tell us what you think about what we're doing and how we could do it better. That's not what's going on. The coaching is Here's the coaching. We know it works. Go do it. Don't improve on it.
Yeah, and that's not to say it can't be improved. That's not to say it can't be improved, but
Right.
come in and do it our way for a while, and then once you start seeing some results, if you want to tweak some things, and kind of say, well, maybe I think this might work, then go do it. But you'll be happy you got a coach like Angela or Josh to go back to, because you screw it all up. Say, okay, something I messed up. Get me back on the path. Right. And if it does work, then maybe we can roll it out to other agents. But you come here with the zero knowledge and try to change what works is the recipe for disaster and suicide in your business.
Well, I think that the thing that doesn't get talked about as much, I shouldn't be not talked about, but not pointed out as much, is the part of when you have somebody showing you a system and you immerse yourself with that system and follow it. And then when you step outside of that, here's the thing is, if you start adding 20 different ingredients into this recipe that weren't supposed to be part of that recipe, and all of a sudden it tastes nasty, right, you have no idea what ingredient is causing it. Right? Because you've introduced so many different things to figure out why you're stumbling, right? Versus if you have this narrow field, right, and you got that down, it's a lot easier. Okay, maybe you can experiment with one thing, and then things start going awry. Guess what? It's probably that one thing that you started, right? Versus throwing all this extra stuff at it that there's no way you're going to pinpoint it. You're going to be like, I don't know. I'm just not doing good.
Yeah. And it's easy to do when you're struggling. When you're really struggling, to give people a break, because I do it too. Nothing that we say on here is anything different than what we all experience. I mean, in January, I had a really rough January. And part of my problem was, like Steve started this podcast with, which was I was trying to put everything in the shopping cart. And to continue on that analogy, when you put everything in the shopping cart, how in the world do you even know what you're trying to cook, right? Because you have all of this stuff. And so I was on our daily coaching calls and on a bunch of other, podcasts and emails, and I was trying to incorporate all of it because I was struggling a little bit, right? My activity was struggling. And so I figured, well, I'll compensate for my activity by trying to fix my lack of, my smaller number of appointments. I'll try and fix those. And so I was literally listening to myself on some appointments and just vomiting like phrase after phrase after phrase, and do this and change that and move here. And I was like, God, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like, none of this even makes sense to me. And the power of being coachable is to have, even if it's your spouse, and have Steve say, why don't you just go back to the beginning part and start there, and then just do that for a little bit and see how that goes. And I went back to just incorporating one or two small things, and, was back on my way. The coachability factor, is huge. And doing it right. Being coachable, understanding what that means, and actually being coachable.
Well, that's the point there exactly, is that people say they're coachable that actually aren't. Right. True. That's the thing is actually truly being coachable. There's a difference in saying that you're coachable versus being honest with yourself and actually being coachable. Right. Actually being coachable is actually giving yourself to somebody and not question it, not coming back with a rebuttal going, well, what if, well, what about, and what if not. That is not being, when you do that, I'm speaking to everybody that does that right now. When you do that, you are actually not being coachable. You are actually being critical of the advice that you're being given, right? Versus don't be critical until you've done it, right? And that's part of being coachable, right? Is when you're advised to do something, do that thing and do it for a while repetitively, right? And see where the results come. Yeah. Right. But don't, if you're coming back with those rebuttals going, well, what if, or what, forget it. Leave it out.
It's not, that's a good point. It's not, your coach is not looking for a debate on how you think his coaching should be different, or, well, that might work, but what if I did this, or that's not the relationship. I think again, that's a misunderstanding of the relationship. The relationship is, I came to you because you have the information that I need to get better. Right. And what I've always told people, when you go out and do what I've done, then you can ask questions. until then, you should be listening to what I'm giving you, because I'm trying to teach you, right? And go take action. And the relationship is that I'm going to get you to be as good, if not better, than I am. And when that happens, then you can turn around, pay it forward to somebody else. But to have this ongoing debate that your previous experience, I hear what you're saying, Steve, or I hear what you're saying, Josh, but I really think if we did it this way, no, that's not valuable at that point, because you're not listening. You're not even hearing, right? I mean, it's go do this and then report back. And that, I think that in the early stages of the relationship, that is the key, Josh, as to whether or not you have a student or not. Give them a task, let them go do it, and have them report back. If they don't go do and report back, the relationship's already broken. Right? It's not come get some information when you want it and then go do something else. I mean, you understand that these professional athletes that have these coaches, they're paying them millions of dollars, right, to give them that coaching, millions. So when they say, "Hey, I think this is a little off," they're listening. That's what they're paying them for. They're not debating with them. They hire them for their expertise. And even though we don't charge for our coaching around here, that is the relationship. And then once you go do it, then yeah, absolutely. Or go do it enough to where you can actually improve on it with your vast amount of knowledge. Then we can maybe learn from you and everybody else and implement it. That's kind of how this virtual thing took place. We started out right when virtual started, or just before that, and we had 10, 15 agents that were, they paid the price. We went through all the technology, all the ways to do an appointment. We had fancy, slides and PowerPoints, all that crap. They paid the price for 18 months before we actually rolled it out to the entire agent force. That's what I'm saying. It's not a guinea pig kind of relationship. We're not going to tell you to do something that doesn't work. In fact, we waited 18 months before we rolled it out to the general agent force for a reason, right? And now, as a group, we're learning a lot more. All of us are learning a lot more because, we got 500 plus people reporting back their numbers every single day. We have a really, really good idea of what works, and we have a really, really good idea of what doesn't work. Doesn't mean it can't be improved. We're always kind of improving it. But that is the power so let's wrap this up. Because this probably could be another hour, but I was thinking about earlier today, Josh, and I actually mentioned it to Angela. We always say that an appointment casually set is also, and I'm interested to get your feedback on this, is also an appointment casually taken. In other words, especially when you're doing virtual, if you don't really lock that appointment down and you're too casual, trying to be cool and buddies and all that stuff, they're going to take it the exact same way. That's what we lock it down by. Is there any way that you and Janice are not going to be able to answer the phone at 8:00 tonight because I've held this slot specifically for you? We try to make sure that they understand that this is important. We booked it for you, and it's important that they actually answer the phone. So my point to you is I'm not going to go off on a tangent on talking about appointments. It's going to come back to the opportunity. And I was thinking earlier today that an opportunity casually taken is an opportunity casually approached. Right. So I find that to be an area where people are also too casual. You came here many of you came here dead broke, looking for a second income, or you got wiped out with bankruptcy, divorce, whatever. And you really, really, really need to make some money here. But you got one toe in this thing. It's like this and 20 other things you're trying out to see what works. And you're casually approaching an opportunity that could turn you into a millionaire. You understand? We got people making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 up to $1 million, a little over $1 million here. So, I mean, you're staring at $1 million opportunity. Doesn't mean you want to make $1 million. It just means that you can make $1 million plus. And you're not showing up to the coaching calls. You're not doing what your coach is telling you. You're in one day, out the next. The old saying is you can't pop popcorn when you turn that power on. Wait 3 seconds, turn it off. You do that all day long, you'll never pop popcorn. So, Angela, you, Josh, you're going to kind of, we'll wrap it up by comments on you on this. But I think that's because I think that's also links to coachability. Because the amount of desire that you have to succeed in this industry, and that it's not a want, it's a have to, Because wants, throw them out the window. Everybody wants to make $1 million. Wanting to make $1 million, I'm going to tell you something from experience. Wanting $1 million will not get you out of bed. Wanting $1 million won't get me off the golf course. Having to make $1 million because my family needs to eat is a far different story, right? Josh,
I think you nailed something there. Is approaching this casually, right? And I know it's sitting up there. I think people need to approach it more of a expectation, right? One, I just want to make sure I say that you got to have expectation, right? What you're putting into something, right? What versus what you get out, right? But I think where you kind of get from that is people going, oh, I'll dip my my toes in and seeing how well it works out or what's that. Then on top of it all, not being coachable and following directions, well, that's just a disaster waiting to happen, right? So the easiest way for me to reflect on that is like the difference. I only have myself as an example to use for this, but it's because I make those certain actions and I'm being successful. Is when I called Steve and I got into this and I got signed up and went that whole 9 round. I had another business going on, but I was looking for a change, right? And so when I made that change, I made that commitment, right? I winged down my commitments, and within a couple of weeks after signing up, I winged down my prior commitments, cut that business out, and jumped into this, had that faith to jump in, right? So at some point, you have to take that faith and give in more time, right? Because this is a business that you're going into, and then you're wanting to potentially grow, right? So you actually have to put in time, right? You have to put in time. You can't approach it casually, right? Even if you're doing it part-time, you can't do it casually. You got to actually put in some time, right? Maximizing the time that you do have, right? And it's anyways. So yeah, I know you wanted to avoid a tangent, so
that's all right. Because I think we could talk for an hour on this. I find you got to fake yourself out. You got to approach this business like you paid $1 million for it. If you had $1 million on the line, you had to make a mortgage payment every month on that $1 million. I guarantee you, your sense of urgency of showing up every day and being on the calls and being coachable and doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes, no matter what, to succeed would be different. And the problem is with this industry is you're in for $200. You're in for a couple $100. And if you lose $200, whatever. I'm on the next plan B, right? And that's a tragic mistake. And if that's you, and we're working together, please raise your hand and say, hey, I'm kind of like 25% in. Because I'll love you, but I'm not going to take all the time with you because, I'm in this business and I'm serious about it. And, it's life changing for me and my family. And we got big plans. And I love you if you want to come here and write 1 or 2, 3 apps a month. That's fantastic. I'll help you do that for sure. But, I'm looking for serious people that understand. You don't need to want to make $1 million a year to be part of this program. You don't. But whatever your goals are, you got to be serious about those goals. If it's 5 apps a month, then it's 5. We could do that, in a week, right?
If you've got a backup, if you've got a safety net now, imagine if the safety net were gone. Treat it as if, and people say, "Well, I can't quit my other job because that's paying the bills." Well, what if the job left you tomorrow? How would you treat this business then? How would you work it? Because that's how we work it.
Yeah, I find. Yeah, Angela, I don't mean to cut you off, but I find, because it's important, I find that people that don't have to do this business generally don't.
Yep. Or aren't willing to put in the extra time, because you could do your job and do this at the same time. You're just gonna be working all day, right? Sitting up there, you work your job during the day, work your appointments at night. Right? And sit up there, and you're going to do that until this one starts outweighing the other one.
Yeah.
Right? Until you actually see it and you got some consistent to give you that extra confidence. Let's be honest, because that's really where it's boiling down to, is that you're lacking the confidence in yourself that you can pull it off.
Yeah. Let's
be honest. That's where it boils down to.
Yeah, and we used to have a statement in the business years ago that everybody wants to check you on. Oh, I don't want. This ain't one of those get rich quick things, is it? I'm not interested in one of those get rich quick things. But as soon as they get the business, that's exactly what they want. because they want to do nothing and make millions.
They don't want to put in the work.
They don't want to put the work in. Well, that's
I just didn't sign that paper, and money's just not going to start coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. What's that? Come on.
How many times do you call people on your team and don't get a call back?
All the time.
Exactly. You got a guy that made six figures in his first 6 months, calling up on taking his time away from his family to help you, and you're not answering the phone. That's casually taking the opportunity. That's my point.
Right.
Crazy. Angela and I, we went in business years ago. We were dead broke. I mean, we were doing another business at the time, and we were still in the insurance business, and we had something else we were trying to do as well. We had this Plan B thing. That's why this whole no Plan B part of it became really a motto, is that we were going to be all in, no Plan Bs. But at that time, we're just getting started into something else, and a guy that was literally a billionaire calls up on the phone and says, "Hey, I'm having a get together at my house, my parents' house on the lake in what's the name of that lake, Angela? Ocean City. Whatever, in Maryland." He goes, "Can you guys are welcome to come out and hang out with it, because everybody's going to be there, going to be millionaires in our business, not in another business, but in business we were trying to be successful at." He goes, "You can come out, hang out, fish, do what you want to do." We had nothing at the time, Josh. We had another business. It required us to be there, and we had to use her grandmother's air miles to get 2 airplane tickets, fly out there. We rented a car, couldn't afford a hotel room, so we slept in the car for 2 days to be on that dock for about 6 hours with people that had made millions in the industry that we wanted to be successful in. Now, most people look at that and go, "Well, that's crazy." No, actually, it's not. We were invited to be around people that were very successful in the business that we want to be in, and how can you turn that down?
We treated it as such. We treated it as these people were where we wanted to be. So let's go and figure out if they can give us something that might unlock, some of the things that we're dealing with. They might coach us a little bit. Hello, and the next year, Steve made $100,000 in that business, and has never.
We ended up making millions in that business over a 10-year period of time, and I look back on that weekend and all the information that we learned. Some of the things that we learned on those docks fishing, Josh, still are staples of what we hold ourselves accountable to every single day. Yep. That no matter, I'll do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, no matter what came from that weekend. What was just a fishing trip. That's the point. And I find that, again, I think this all goes back to, I think the coachability and how coachable you are starts and ends with how much desire, and also how you approach the business and the opportunity. I really do. And I think that also relates to the same kind of people you're talking to when they say, "Well, I'm not going to go to the conference. I can't afford to go to the conference." Can you tell me that, Josh, since day one, I made the first mistake to call him up and I always do, say, "Hey, you want a conference?" Without question. He didn't even hesitate. Not because I coached him, but that was just his attitude. Yeah, absolutely, I'm going to conference. And it's been that way since day one. But we have other people that like, "Well, I want to make some money before I actually invest any money." Guess what? That will never happen. Never happen. You got to make an investment in order to take a withdrawal. This is a business. It's not a job. In jobs, they'll pay you to show up. You can probably get away with doing nothing a lot of times, and they'll still pay you that hourly wage. This is a business. You're going to have to make an investment of time and money to succeed. Now, it goes back to what this title's video, this thing, I think I put it in the chat there. $200 investment, make 20,000. That's real. 10%. Mm-hmm. Right? So, it happens all the time. So that's about what we're seeing in terms of a lead spend, 10 times earnings. And so you can invest $200 a month, and you can invest $200 in an insurance license, and it's a 20, 30, 40 and on up opportunity per month, thousands of dollars. We got a lot of people doing $20,000, $30,000 a month, and the cost of the insurance license was the same. It was $200. So if that doesn't fire you up, then Josh, your wood's wet. appreciate you being here. Any final comments?
No, I would just say, I mean, here's the deal. It's don't overcomplicate it, and that's where everybody goes wrong with it. With coachability is generally, I'm gonna go back to reiterate, because I think that sitting up there is truly being coachable. That if you go back, are you going back rebels, teach yourself to actually be coachable. You can sit up there, catch yourself when you catch yourself going to rebuttal to somebody's trying to teach you. Stop, hold your breath. Going, okay, I'm making a change in myself, right? Because I need to make that change in myself to better myself, right? Because you are your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And that will cost you millions in your lifetime. Millions for a small fraction of the pleasure you think you're getting at the time. So that's what I say.
Good stuff. Absolutely. I mean, we've got great opportunity out there. Spend $200 for a license, make $20,000-$30,000 a month. 100% virtual. And more coaching, like with Josh, with myself, with Angela, than you can want is available. We stand behind that. We believe in it. We do it every single day, 7 days a week, right? And we have the daily coaching calls and training on that's online, and put you through an orientation program, 12-step orientation program, and it's 8-step program for virtual training. All these things are available, right? And so but that's part of the coaching. You've got to go through those things, and then once you start to move, you transition to the field. That's when the work really starts. But you got to set the correct foundation, right? Virtual is where it's at right now. Doesn't mean we don't do face-to-face, but virtual is where it's at, right? Daily coaching calls. We have a Saturday boot camp as well. We have the best comp in the industry. We have bonuses that are not subjective to your upline. I hate that word, but it came from the multi-level marketing industry or network marketing industry, whatever, your manager, coach, whatever. We have best direct mail leads in the industry. That's the gold standard, right? We have a Builders Boost program where we'll pay you if you want to open your own office. And we have an equity bonus, which means you're going to profit for what the entire company does, not just you and your team. And the freedom to build your business the way that you want to and the speed that you want to, or you prefer, as long as it's good business. So it's all here. But you got to bring one of our we say all the time, Josh, is that we can give you all this stuff: the best training, the best products, the best carriers, the best platform, technology platform, the best leads, best everything. But you got to bring the desire. We can't give you that, unfortunately.
100%. I'd end it on that. Right there.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys. Good night.